Elon Musk just made a new prediction. Current trajectory has them, Rivian, bankrupt in 6 quarters. Maybe that trajectory will change, but so far it hasn't. And Rivian stock? It's down 25% in a single day. Lucid stock is down over 17%. What is going on? Let's find out. Needless to say, this is bullish for Tesla. First of all, Rivian's product. Is it bad? Is it good? Elon thinks their product design is not bad, but the actual hard part of making a car company work is achieving volume production with positive cash flow. Rivian's Q4 earnings report disappointed, production forecast stagnated, and it announced layoffs. Rivian said it only expects to produce 57,000 vehicles in 2024, below expectations of 80,000. 57,000 is roughly in line with 2023 total deliveries. Seems like no one is following Ross Gerber's lead to buy more Rivians. Rivian's total revenue slightly decreased quarter over quarter, and keep in mind that Q4 is usually the strongest quarter. Gross profit / loss increased by 27%. They are losing more money. SG&A increased despite declining revenue. Total operating expenses up 1%. Rivian did raise a little bit of money, so their total cash position actually increased by a little bit. But it's definitely rough for Rivian right now. Down 91% now since the IPO. It's really close to being under $10 billion in market cap. Remember when Chicken Genius was talking about Rivian basically being better than Tesla on September 15th? So September 15th, yep, the stock since then down 50%. Now Tesla is down too since then, but 28%, not 50%. And looking at Tesla, for me, it's a buying opportunity. Looking at Rivian, it's a Tesla stock buying opportunity. When a woman asks me, oh, is that woman pretty? I tell her, you're pretty. I'm telling you guys, loyalty has been greatly rewarded here. Stay away from these stars that dance on poles. So yeah, stay away from Polestar. Do you think Rivian is going to survive? Well, if Amazon keeps giving them money, and if Rivian somehow is able to raise a lot more money, maybe they can survive. Very selfishly, as a Tesla stock investor, I hope they don't. But as someone who loves EVs and as someone who likes to go outside and breathe clean, fresh air, I hope they survive. And now, why is Lucid down so much too? Well, they missed revenue expectations by quite a bit, and Lucid says they expect to produce only 9,000 vehicles in 2024. Elon says their Saudi sugar daddy is the only thing keeping them alive. And now, actually, Rivian's average selling price in Q4 was higher than Lucid's average selling price of $90,000 in the same quarter. This Lucid Air now starts at $69,000. I was expecting a funny comment from Elon, but there's nothing yet. Rizaldo predicts that Lucid is going private and or bankrupt in 2024. If this doesn't happen, I'll eat chocolate ice cream. I too don't like chocolate ice cream. I like chocolate, but not chocolate ice cream. And analysts were expecting full year 2024 deliveries of 22,500 vehicles, but Lucid guided for just 9,000. Their market cap at this point is just the option value of a Saudi take private scenario. And Lucid's market cap right now is at $7 billion. And Lucid lost about $377,000 for every vehicle that they delivered in Q4. No wonder why they don't want to deliver more vehicles. Lucid's losses in 2023 more than doubled compared to their 2022 losses. Lucid reported almost $5 billion in total liquidity at the end of the fourth quarter, and for 2023 they had negative free cash flow of $3.4 billion. The end is not that far away. And when Lucid went public, it told investors it would sell 49,000 cars in 2023. In reality, they only sold 6,000. More Tesla killers will definitely be going out of business. Rivian, though, says that they expect to achieve a modest gross profit in the fourth quarter of 2024, but yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. Given the circumstances right now, that does not seem exactly very likely. If you park your Tesla, let's say at the airport with Sentry mode turned on and you come back a few days later, your battery is going to be drained. However, Tesla's Sentry mode will use 40% less power soon via a software update, so this is a pretty big deal. Mercedes made some interesting comments. Mercedes just toned down expectations on EV demand and said it will update its combustion engine lineup well into next decade, becoming the latest car maker to flag a slower than expected appetite for electric cars. The company, which has been preparing for all electric sales by 2030, said it now expects electrified sales, including hybrids, to account for up to 50% only of the total sales by that date. This is actually great news for us Tesla stock investors because it means Tesla can take a little bit longer to release the next generation vehicle and it won't really matter all that much. At least these legacy automakers don't really seem to be trying as hard anymore. So Elon's decision to focus on FSD for some time before focusing on the next generation vehicle may not backfire as much as perhaps previously thought. Seems like the only competition that we really need to worry about is just from China, especially BYD. BYD is moving pretty fast, but there's plenty of room for multiple companies to exist. And BYD is not even really trying to work on full self-driving. Gary Black strongly pushes back against Elon Musk here. We expect Rivian to be gross margin positive by Q4, so their cash bleed will drop significantly exiting 2024. Number 2, Rivian has never had any trouble raising capital. Well, we'll see about that going forward. Number 3, Elon's chart is wrong. Rivian had $9.4 billion in cash and marketable securities at the end of Q4. And number 4, Amazon could buy Rivian out for rounding error. Even at a 50% premium, Rivian enterprise value would be under $10 billion versus Amazon's market cap of $1.8 trillion, so 0.6% only. And Amazon had $87 billion in cash and short-term investments as of the last day of 2023. Rivian is certainly in a better position than Lucid, but I don't envy Rivian. And I am not investing in Rivian. Omar has a fair point here. A simple $100 million ad campaign could restore them to a $150 billion valuation. He's talking about Rivian. Also, RJ, the CEO of Rivian, needs to stop tweeting about politics. I don't think he's tweeting right now, so if you tell him to stop, you know, in math, 2 negatives make a positive. Would that mean he would have to start tweeting about politics? Elon says they need to cut costs massively and the executive team needs to live in the factory or they will die. Someone's proposing for Tesla to consider acquiring Rivian. Ross Gerber would probably be happy about that.
All right, back on FSD Beta 12. I have a little construction area here that on V11, it's never been able to do it. It kind of gets confused right here at the beginning. So you can see the road's closed off and kind of coned off to the side. So let's see. Oh, I mean, already a ton of confidence going through. I'll see if I can find a video of V11 and link it if I still have one. But
yeah, there seem to be quite a few people saying things like, oh, FSD 11 would never be able to do this, and then they show FSD V12 doing something that previously it could just never do before. We just found out that Elon Musk quietly visited the White House in September, but Elon did not meet the president. The logs say that the meeting was in the West Wing part of the White House complex and that Rohan Patel, a Tesla executive, was also there. Now, you might think that this has nothing to do with Tesla because Musk and other tech industry executives had met earlier that day with lawmakers and reporters on Capitol Hill at a summit on artificial intelligence, but Rohan Patel was also there, and he's from Tesla. If you think that the White House has a lot of credibility, you may take their word for what actually happened. The White House said the subject was AI and that Musk and Biden did not meet. The White House confirmed this was Musk's only visit during this administration. If you remember, last year we had some major automotive strikes in the US, and the time of the visit sort of matches the time of when the strikes started. So maybe the administration was hoping that it could somehow ask Tesla's executives to have the employees join a union. Anyway, these are the logs from the White House. Charging possibly could have been discussed as well. But whatever happened during that visit, I don't think Elon's impression of the White House improved, because he did say later that the White House is giving Tesla a cold shoulder. Tesla has changed their mobile connector and wall connect prices on the online vehicle configurator. The new pricing for the mobile connector is $250, up from $230, and the wall connector price is slightly down for $50 instead of $475. AJ made a pretty informative post here. Tesla's land acquisition, which was voted by the people in the area, was the area marked in blue. This is in Germany. I highlighted the same in red approximately in the satellite picture. As you can see, Tesla's eastward land acquisition would not have encroached into any town, since there are no residential buildings anywhere immediately adjacent to the land in question. I estimate that even after the acquisition, Tesla's factory would have been at least 2.3 miles away from the town that's voting against this expansion. Tesla is seeking for that expansion to improve its logistics and supply chain. This is pretty important. Tesla is requesting the people of Oklahoma to contact members of the Oklahoma legislature and oppose these bills. If passed, these bills could put Tesla locations and Oklahoma jobs at risk. This proposal would ban educational and informational activities about Tesla and its products. If you are from Oklahoma, I'm going to put down this link, look on it, and then follow instructions from Tesla. You can actually make a difference here. Here's a side-by-side V11 and V12 comparison. This is FSD Beta 11. You can see the path planner has no clue what to do exactly, and then it does this. That was not good. And here's FSD Beta 12. Same intersection, and you can see there's a pedestrian on the left side. You can see there's still someone walking there, so that's why the car did not go. And it chooses the right lane smoothly. Smoothly is the key word here. This new version is just so smooth compared to FSD 11. Here's an interesting survey. In the US, agree or disagree, Elon Musk is a good ambassador for electric vehicles. People on the left, only 34% agree, 66% disagree. People on the right, 61% of them agree, and 39% disagree. And this is quite revealing and interesting. Of those that favor the former president in the US, 44% of them mostly view Elon Musk favorably, and only 10% mostly unfavorably. Of those that support the current president, it's a complete opposite. And then check this out. So obviously, Elon Musk thinks that climate change is a somewhat serious issue, but of those that think that climate change is serious, only 14% of them view Elon Musk favorably, and 44% of them view him mostly unfavorably. And then you can see that one party clearly has a preference for Elon Musk, and the other party clearly does not like Elon Musk. Keep in mind though, this is a survey of just 600 voters. But it's pretty interesting to see these findings. Supporting climate change and then being against Elon Musk, these two things don't really quite go together. Now, based on this study, 50% of Republicans and 75% of Democrats can be convinced on purchasing an EV. 50% of the US is independent. Assuming similar split, addressing cost of ownership, range, and charging network will cause a gigantic shift to EVs, especially cost. Here's what's going on with people not wanting EVs. They say, I don't want an EV, then they try it, and then they start thinking about it, and then they actually really want an EV. So I wouldn't take these surveys too seriously. Oh, I don't want an EV. Well, you haven't tried. And coming back to this, James says, butthurt or not, Democrats are much more likely to purchase an EV for now and make up Tesla's core customer demographic and opportunity in the US due to Tesla's still low US market share. How much this influences their purchase decision is another question, but it surely does not help. This is an example of the damage Elon has done to Tesla's brand in the US, and there are other examples like this in other important progressive countries in the world, like Germany with big auto markets. Tesla shareholders paid for Twitter once in 2022, and we keep paying for it with every unnecessary political controversy that Elon decides he wants to stick his nose into. Dylan, though, says all this talk about politics ruining Tesla. Am I the only one that thinks most normal people don't consider politics at all when buying things? Sure, there are some loud extremes on both sides, but most regular folks just want the best products at the best prices. If I ever start buying inferior products because someone has a different political view than me, please check me into an institution for help. To anyone that boycotts Tesla for whatever reason, that says way more about them than it does about Tesla. In my life, I have never not buy something because, oh, this was a product made by a Democrat. Oh, that was made by a Republican. I've never done it. James responds to Dylan, buying a car is an emotional decision in part because of the high cost of the transaction. Automakers literally spend billions of dollars every year to nurture their brands and create that emotional connection to their prospective customers in hopes that these customers will feel like they can relate, feel represented by the brand or the product. Elon Musk has basically used this dynamic but in the opposite way and created reasons for people to avoid Tesla. Why? Because he's a narcissist, says James. People who choose other EVs because of Elon or for whom Tesla is less attractive, this requiring exorbitant price cuts to increase the value proposition to help compensate for a lack of demand from turned off consumers, are not at fault. They are voting with their wallets. The person at fault is Elon and only Elon. Dylan, though, fires back with, I'm arguing the percentage of people doing this isn't going to have a material impact on the long-term trajectory of Tesla. I also believe there are more important matters for Elon to expose and speak on than Tesla sales figures. If our country collapses in the process, car sales won't matter at all, as we will all have much bigger problems. And of all the companies and woke leaders in the world, you want to boycott Tesla? To me, that's ridiculous. This is getting heated. James says the country isn't collapsing. Free speech isn't at risk. Elon bought Twitter for one thing: power. The power to have his platform and do and say what he wants when he wants. The reasons he provides for this are just a smokescreen. I used to believe in his words. One day, you'll see things as I do. It's really quite interesting that James said free speech isn't at risk. He might have added that Twitter files were also not real and that the government was not at all using Twitter for political purposes. Definitely that did not happen, right? That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from him. Free speech isn't at risk, says Dylan. James, this is an absurd take, my guy. I like the choice of words here. Are you not watching what's going on with nearly every other social media platform? Have you not seen what our government has been up to, quite literally censoring the opposition? For example, on YouTube, up until very recently, you had to be extremely careful what you said. The RFJ interview that Farzad posted on YouTube with Elon Musk, I think it was in the summer of 2023. It was removed from YouTube and then Farzad fought it and it was put back on YouTube and it got 300 views in a matter of months, I think. And now Farzad reposted it recently just now and it got hundreds of thousands of views. Free speech isn't at risk? Although I have to say that free speech is certainly not at risk as long as you say exactly what the government wants you to say. Even if you argue the country isn't collapsing yet, that doesn't mean it's not at risk to do so in the future if things keep going this way. Here's another happy Tesla customer who just tried FSD 12 after installing it on his vehicle. I am yet to see someone who was seriously disappointed by FSD V12. Everyone says it's basically better. Wow, SpaceX seeks a waiver to launch Starship at least 9 times this year. I am really excited about this one. Starship is the rocket that will really help us colonize Mars. So this is a big deal. The next launch is possibly as soon as within 3 weeks. Elon posted a few somewhat political things today. He posted, I just typed in a Google query on my phone, and the top 2 choices are pro-censorship. Why censorship is important in social media. Then Elon reposted this, proud to be the first AG to have removed a Soros-backed prosecutor from office. Elon also reposted this, and he also reposted this. Elon also posted, every joke is a tiny revolution. The woke mind virus is killing Western civilization. Google does the same thing with their search results, Facebook and Instagram too, and Wikipedia. This is what Elon reposted. Google's woke AI makes Vikings black. I probably have some Viking blood in me, by the way. And the Pope, a woman. And this is an image you get for founding father. All right. So I personally don't mind Elon posting some of these political things, even though I do think this is a negative for Tesla, but I'm willing to pay that price personally. Anyway, did you know that the New York City Mayor Eric Adams is planning to give up to $10,000 to every illegal immigrant? Even though I personally don't live in the US, there's a good chance I will move there. And I personally think the US is by far the most important country in the world right now. If somehow the US falls, the world is going to be a very different place. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And wow, this Cybertruck, wow. I thought this was AI at first when I saw the picture, but now we are seeing some video footage too, and this is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. They made the Cybertruck even cooler. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.